Good morning. We are going to get started on a new project today, and we are going to be working with pattern and we are going to be working with repetition. So you all know what patterns are. It could be like blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, something that repeats itself over and over again. And repetition is very much the same thing. So when something repeats itself. So what we're going to do is make a toucan, and we are going to color it in using pattern and repetition. And I will do that demonstration in just a second. Okay, so like I said before, we are going to be working on making a toucan, and I will have some example sheets for you to look at to make your toucan. The one thing we're going to focus on though is making this look a little bit more cartoon looking than what a toucan really is. It's not going to be the same colors that a toucan is because we're going to be focusing on the primary colors and mixing those colors together to make the secondary colors, which means that the coloring will not be realistic. Also, the amount of feathers that I put on this and the way that we color the feathers in will not be very realistic. So you are going to draw with a pencil. I am using a Sharpie because some people were having a hard time seeing the pencil lead when I was doing videos. So fingers crossed I don't make any mistakes because I won't be able to erase them. But what you're going to do is start out by making the beak up towards the top of the paper. And when you do this, you want to make sure that, again, that it's at the top of the paper, but that you're leaving room for a big beak because toucans do have big beaks, but also that you're leaving room to make the bird's body, okay? So I have drawn this shape right here, which is actually where the bird's beak is going to attach to its head. And I'm bringing this way over to the edge of the paper like that. And then down here, I'm going to go across like this. And I'm going to make it kind of like a rounded triangle, okay? Now, I'm not sure what these parts are, but they have things like this in their beak. They also have things like this in their beaks, okay? Now, if you want your toucan's beak to be open, or in my case, I want it to be partially open, I'm just going to, that's going to be the opening right there, okay? So I'm going to go like that, and then this bottom beak isn't as pointy as that one. It also isn't as long as that one, as the top one, okay? So my beak is done. Now what I need to do is start with the head and the body. And the head doesn't really go up very high, not much higher than what the beak is, just a tiny bit. And it goes over like this, okay? Now I actually need to make this come down a little bit lower because this is the start of the neck and it does go a little bit lower than my beak, okay? And this is part of my neck as well. So now what I want to do, and you guys would do this a little bit differently because you're using pencil. You can kind of make like an egg shape or an oval shape in the shape of the bird's body and then go ahead and start adding the wings in. I can't do that because I wouldn't be able to erase the parts of that oval that I would need to erase. So you may want to just make an oval first. I, on the other hand, am going to go ahead and start making the shape of the wing. Now these feathers here each go down a little bit further each time, okay? And what I'm going to do is come up here in the wing and make some more feathers. And then below it, I'm going to start at the tip or the bottom of the U shape of the previous feather to make my next row of feathers. Okay, now for this, I'm actually just going to attach these up to it. So I have 3 rows of feathers just on my wing. Again, notice that these are all attaching, so they're making individual feathers that we can fill in individually. That is very important for this project, okay? Now, connecting to this bottom wing here, I'm gonna make the rest of the body. So it's going to connect here. Oh, my Sharpie is getting kind of funky. But I'm also going to come up here. I'm going to make the chest and kind of the belly of the toucan. Go over like this and come up like that. So now I have the shape of the body of the bird. I'm going to add a wing over here. And on this wing, I'm just going to see that little bit there. And then up here, I'm going to make a circle. Inside that circle, I'm going to make another circle. And I'm going to make another ring around that. And then I'm going to make this shape. Whoop, I got a little carried away there. Like this. Okay. And again, the handout that you're going to get is going to look a little different than this, but like I said, I don't have the handout with me at home. Now, I am going to go ahead and start making feathers in the chest of the bird. And you don't want these to get too tiny. Mine are, about from the tip of my finger to my first, where my finger first bends. That's about how long mine are. I wouldn't go much smaller than that because it will start to get hard to color them in when we do get to the coloring part. Okay, now I'm pretty much done with the feathers. What I need to do still is make the tail feathers. I guess I'm not done with the tail feathers. But depending on how your bird is sitting, the tail feathers, you may see all of them, or they may be hidden behind a branch. In my case, they're going to be hidden behind a branch, and my toucan's feet are going to be perched on that branch. So what I need to do first is draw my toucan feet. So this is like the little hairy part that comes down over the leg or the foot. And then the branch is going to go in here. So this is going behind. And then I'm going to see 1 toe, 2 toes, and the 3rd toe is back behind the branch, like I already had mentioned. Okay? And then same thing over here. I have a second one. I have to make that hairy part of the leg. Okay. Toe, toe, like that, and then the branch is going to be here. So here's my tree branch. Okay, my tree branch is right here, and then my tree branch is right here. Now, you decide how you want your tree branch to look. You can put a few little lines in there for the bark. And if you would like, you can make like a leaf or something coming off the end. Like that. Okay. And depending on how much space you have left after we get the tail feathers, I should say, you may want more branches, or you may want like bamboo or something else in the background. You don't want the background to be full of white space, okay? So what I need to do now is just make the tail feathers, And then we're pretty much done with the demonstration. So I'm gonna go like this. My tail is going behind the tree, so I can't draw through the tree branch. And I just finish it down here. Pretend like I'm drawing right up through that tree branch. And that ends that tail feather, okay? The next one is going to be a little bit bigger, or longer, I should say. Like that. And I think I want one more over here. Okay? And there I have my toucan. Now, I will do the coloring demonstration. More than likely it will be next time. So again, you're drawing in pencil, and then once you get it okayed, you can Sharpie it. Okay? If you have any questions, please let me know. Okay, so I am back for the coloring demonstration. What we are going to do is use just the primary colors, so red, yellow, and blue, and you have to mix those colors. It is a requirement for the project. Now, I've taught you this in the past. I'm going to show you again. To clean off your oil pastels, you just kind of twist them around on the back of your paper to get the extra gunk off. You are using pretty new oil pastels, so you may not even have to do this until you get a little bit further into your coloring. So, what you're going to do then is just start coloring, and we can color using a pattern if we would like to. So maybe what I want to do is yellow here. Notice I'm not coloring the whole feather in because I have to mix colors. But if I want to do a pattern, it would be yellow, a different color, yellow. Oops, see, look at, I had a dirty spot on my thing, on my oil pastel. Now, since that happened, what I'm going to use for my other color is blue, because blue and yellow make green, and then I can kind of mask that little mistake. So I'll put blue there, and blue there, and you always, always, always want to mix your colors together using the lighter of the two colors. So I'm going to use my yellow and mix it back and forth into the blue. So I have blue, and then it makes green, and then it makes yellow, okay? In these bigger areas, you can do more mixing. So that yellow is really bothering me because it is really dirty. So take, for instance, up here, maybe I want to start with yellow. And you want to fill it in so that there's no white spaces left. I want my next color to be red. Then I want to go back to blue. And the order that you guys do this in is completely up to you. And maybe I want to go back to red. And then a little blue again. And then I want to end with my yellow. So I'm always mixing with the lightest of the two colors, which means right here with the blue and the yellow, I'm going to mix with the yellow. Up here where I have yellow and red, I'm going to mix with the yellow. Notice that I never completely cover up the pure colors. So I always leave some completely yellow or some completely red or some completely blue. I don't completely mix them together and eliminate that original color. Now up here, red is lighter than the blue, so I'm using my red oil pastel to do the mixing in that space. Same thing right here. And I get like a really dark purplish color, okay? Like that. Okay, now you would continue mixing colors throughout the whole entire bird. It's okay like on the feet if you just want to do yellow for the toes. That's fine with me. Now for your tree branch, hopefully I have all the colors I need. I'm going to use brown, and I am going to use black, very little black. But what I'll do is just color the branch brown. And then I can go in with that black and add the little grains of wood back in. I can also put some of that black along the edge to make it look like my branch is curved or rounded or a little bit more three-dimensional. I just want to go over it with the brown again so it's not quite so drastic, I guess. Like that. Just complete black is a little bit too much for a shadow. Okay? And I would do that along the edge of the little twig up here also, and all along the edge here. For the leaves, you can use like a light green and a dark green mixed together, or a dark green and a yellow mixed together. And then the very last step of the project is to take, you have two options. You can use blue and pink together, or you can use purple and pink together. I am going to use blue and pink together because I don't have a purple oil pastel with me, okay? So I'm gonna clean this pink one off because it's pretty nasty. And I've got some reds left on my blue, so I'll peel that, get that cleaned off. And what you're going to do is use the darker colors, so either your blue or your purple, depending on which you use, and you're just gonna make some blobs all over in your background, like this. Okay, now I would do more than what I've done. Notice they're not just like a circle, they're just literally blobs. And then when I'm done making all the blobs of either the blue or the purple, the rest will be filled in with pink, okay? So I would do all of this pink if I didn't have any blue blobs there, but then when you get by your blob, what you want to do is mix your pink into your darker colors. So whether that be the blue or the purple, but it's going to kind of make your background look almost like tie-dye, okay? So once you are finished with this, you're finished with the project. The only thing that I am going to remind you of is that you want very few little white specks. So if you're coloring like this, you're going to have to go over that again because we want it like really bright like this is, okay? All right, if you have any questions, please let me know.